Have you ever thought about the difference between 6-figure and 7-figure businesses? What is the actual difference between the inner workings of $100,000 a year versus $1 million a year? In this video, Clark and I are going to be discussing the differences between 6 figures and 7 and how to get there. Stay tuned.
I laughed a little because it was just funny. It was just like the difference between this and me.
All right, guys, welcome back to another video with the lowly peasant and myself. We're gonna be talking about, kind of a casual consultation of me, trying to help Clark with a little bit of automation, get to the level that he's wanting to get to. So give us like an estimate, or if you want to reveal real numbers, what is your business currently making right now and where do you want to get it to?
It's funny with numbers, everyone's always trying to hide things. I think you just got to own where you're at, especially if you want to get to the next level. So I came to Kevin because we've been friends now for a year. We actually put together his IKEA furniture this time last year. It was like literally his first day. He opens up the place. He didn't even have any of his awards unboxed. I think he had one at the time, and like he had no car. I was just like, oh, this guy's awesome. And I hit you up like a week before, and then a week later I was like in your house.
Yeah.
So I came to Kevin because I'm trying to scale my business. So I run a channel, Refusing to Settle, on YouTube and whatnot, and I make a lot of digital courses. And it's been successful by everyday standards. But I grew it now to probably around $250,000 a year through various courses, through affiliate platforms and whatnot. And I'm just a little frustrated because I see people like yourself getting the 8-figure award or even 2 Comma Club award. And I'm like, well, I've been hustling for a long time. Like, how do I do that? How do I get to that next level? So that's why I sit down with Kevin and learn from the man himself.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we want to talk about today, kind of the difference between 6 and 7. So how many employees do you have right now?
I got a Trello board of 7.
You have 7 employees, and they're virtual assistants, or they're in the USA, or what?
Yeah, a couple are in the USA, but they all do odd jobs, mostly VAs.
Okay, so the first step that I would take is kind of trying to get a little bit more organized of a structure. So like what we use is we use a day shift and a night shift for VAs, and we have a daytime VA manager and a nighttime VA manager. So the only 2 people that I actually speak to are the daytime manager and the nighttime manager, right? The daytime VA manager and the nighttime VA manager organize everything else that needs to be done, right? We use Trello, and so I'll literally send either the day or nighttime VA manager a voice message, right? I have a group chat with all 3, with me, my daytime manager, and my nighttime manager. I'll send a voice message that says, hey, we need the graphics updated for DCS, like we need this thing updated on the funnel, blah, blah, blah. What they do is they take that voice message and they actually transcribe it, and then they assign it to the correct person in Trello, and then they make sure that the Trello tasks actually get accomplished on time. So that's a way that we've been able to kind of increase the efficiency of getting tasks out quickly, and then having somebody else kind of take that off your plate.
Whoa, how'd you learn that?
I just thought that it would be more efficient.
So that was your system?
Yeah, so we literally are getting things done 24 hours a day because we have a day shift and a night shift. So constantly all of our funnels are being updated. Every single day we test to make sure that the webinars are working, that the emails are being imported correctly, because things break all the time, right?
So every day you do that?
Every day we do that, right? So that's how we organize employees. I have 1 employee in the USA who's actually right there, right behind the camera filming.
And eating chicken.
Yeah, so which is pretty cool, because with a $10 million company, to have 1 employee in the USA is really unique, right? Yeah. And that's what digital courses allow you to do if you scale them correctly, right? And Clark, for people who don't know, has a large YouTube channel, 260,000, right?
So somewhere around there.
So around 260,000 subscribers. I was about to say employees. How long have you had that channel?
Like 5 years, 6 years. It's been a grind, yeah.
Right. So one of the things that, and I know about Clark's channel too. So one of the things that I would recommend for YouTube for you, right? Because YouTube is the key. YouTube is the engine. YouTube drives everything. YouTube's the reason that I went from 0 to whatever in a relatively short amount of time. Something that I would kind of say to you is, and something that Evan Carmichael said to me is, kind of establish a brand with your thumbnails. So if people see a thumbnail, they say, oh, that's a Clark thumbnail. That's a Refusing to Settle thumbnail. Something else that I would do is look at what other content is working and then model it off of that. I noticed that you do a lot of like vlogs and a lot of things like that. And while it is fun and it's like a release, right? If you enjoy doing it, do it. But from a business perspective, right, your time is better spent kind of remaking proven content that has a ton of views, right? That's been proven by the YouTube algorithm to actually work.
So it's almost like removing the passion behind it, which sucks to say, because I think a lot of people watching, like, they're creatives, entrepreneurs, like, we're kind of a drunkard, right? And we like get drunk on these ideas and like
Well, it's two conversations, right? Like, we're not talking about how to be like a happier, more fulfilled person. We're talking about how to get you to $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And how to get to $1 million is more eyeballs, right? Attention is currency, right? Distribution is how you get rich, right? So the more attention you have, the more attention currency you have, the more people watching your videos, the more people who are going to be, okay, what's that link he has in his description, right?
Yeah.
Course. Register for your webinar. So let's talk about how your digital course, webinars, and all of that stuff are set up right now.
Yeah, it's pretty much direct to sales page, and then I have like an email automation that's just absolutely insane, and I don't even know how it works. It's just like so complicated.
And what autoresponder is it?
It's just an Aweber.
Aweber.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what I would recommend, right, and what we use is EverWebinar. So EverWebinar is a platform that allows a couple of things. A live chat, right? Because when you have a live chat, think about it like you're watching a webinar. If you were watching a webinar and there's a live chat and a real person, right, responds to you, you're like, oh, wow. Like, this is like really legit, right? Like, if they have real people monitoring this chat, this course is probably going to also have, you know, real types of support, real people that are going to help me. And that's what every person's kind of internal dialogue is. And it helps them, you know, kind of go over that last hump and actually, you know, purchase the program and join the program. So EverWebinar is what we use. ActiveCampaign is what we use for an email automation. It has, you know, very robust features that you can, you know, from an event perspective with your webinar. We're not gonna go too technical about that. There will be a free training in the description if you guys wanna learn more about a lot of the technical, more advanced stuff. But we use EverWebinar, ActiveCampaign, right? And in EverWebinar, we actually have virtual assistants 24 hours a day answering questions that people have, right? And that's one of the biggest reasons that we're able to help people on a very large scale. And the same thing with Facebook messages, right? We get between 6,000 and 10,000 Facebook messages a day.
That's nuts, man. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
This might be left field a little bit because I love talking about courses, but it's more of a theory question for people watching too. Like, do you think you hustle more at 7 figures or 6 figures?
6.
It feels like a 6-figure hamster wheel. Like, it just feels like the more I do, the more I have to do. And it's exhausting.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because I looked at your schedule, bro. And like, you're doing like affiliate offers, like you have a schedule to like send out emails for the mastermind.com. Like, those are things that will make you some money, but they're not gonna get you like to the real next level. The real next level is like is not doing more stuff. It's blocking more stuff. It's saying no to more stuff and focusing on the core that's actually gonna make a difference, right? The things that really make a difference with a digital product business or a physical product business are the things that are automated and scalable, don't require more of your time, right? What is that? YouTube is the biggest one, organic, especially because you already have that platform. So remaking proven content related to entrepreneurship, related to the digital products that you sell, right? Proven stuff. You know, really going deep into like the actual semantics, like how are people hooking attention? How are they maintaining attention, right? What's the value? How are they linking, right? What types of thumbnails are they using? Like the real nuanced stuff. YouTube, and then paid traffic, right? Paid traffic is probably the truest source of scale with no additional work, because you can spend $1 a day or you can spend $1,000 a day, and if they're both profitable, right, there's obviously going to be more people driven into your funnel at 1,000. So like we talked about, you know, off camera, the number one thing is getting your webinar funnel just flawless as it gets. The email sequence is perfect. The webinar itself, beautiful, right? A virtual assistant or two responding to people in the chat all day long, really making a beautiful sequence. Maybe getting like 1 or 2 phone closers to try to close people, you know, who kind of drip through the funnel at the end. And then once you have your funnel super, super tight, then what you should focus on exclusively, you should close off everything else, in my opinion, right? And is exclusively make content on YouTube, proven content, not vlogs, not funnel hacking, not stuff that feels good, right? Making proven content on YouTube that actually people watch and have proven to watch, and really get your channel like just pumping with eyeballs. And then paid traffic. Paid traffic is literally the easiest way to scale your business from 6 to 7 figures, you know, predictably, but you have to have the right strategy, right? You have to have what's called marketer stamina, right? Dean Graziosi said that at Funnel Hacking. I love that term. Basically, which means, you know, we have hundreds of ads, and 98 of them don't work, but 2 of them take off, right? And so we try all these different hooks, and you know, sometimes it just clicks.
Yeah. So what do you say then? Like, because I've tried, maybe not well, Facebook ads and burned 5 to 10 grand and like put all this time and energy into a channel, but it's just frustrating. It's like that 6-figure hamster wheel of like you hear all this info, like Kevin talking about courses and like paid ads and all this stuff, and I'm like, cool, I'll do it, and then you burn 10 grand and you're just like, God, I don't want to do that again.
Think about it though. You were running that, you spent 10 grand and you drove that traffic where?
to just various automations with opt-ins and pages.
Right. Was it a fully automated webinar?
No.
Yeah, I mean, so the
So
thing
a
is,
webinar's always the thing?
I drive 95% of my traffic to webinars.
So if someone's creating a course, you always recommend them do a webinar?
100%. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's above a $497 offer. If you're selling a $97 offer on how to weave or something, maybe not. But if you're selling a $497 or higher offer, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't listen to all the people that are saying webinars are dead, right? Look at the people who are making multiple millions of dollars and ask any of them, right? Look at the big guys. They're all doing the same thing. They're running traffic to an ever webinar or to a webinar sequence, right? That's always live, right? Just in time, every 15 minutes. And then they're literally driving that traffic into the webinar. That's it. Right? So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't do VSLs. Don't do ebooks, right? Don't do any of that stuff until your webinar is working, right? Until it's just completely sealed of leaks. And like, if you're running $10,000 worth of Facebook traffic to a poorly designed webinar, you're gonna lose money, right? It has to start chronologically with the webinar itself, then the webinar email sequence, then the webinar automation, right? That all has to be perfect. And only then can you actually start to really run a ton of paid traffic profitably.
So if you were to take over my business for a day or a month or however long, and you just got in there and you're like, okay, I'm gonna make this course, Video Breakthrough Academy, I'm gonna make this one pop, what would you do?
I would go out and look and find whoever has the most successful YouTube course, which I would argue is probably Jump Cut. And I would literally go through their whole funnel, look at all their emails, how do they set things up. I'd watch their webinar, I'd take detailed notes, and then I would go out and look at who I think has the best webinars, right? And which, in my opinion, is probably me. But I've studied a ton about webinars from Jason and Russell and all these guys who dedicated their whole lives to it, like Dan Kennedy and all these people. And I've taken all the best pieces of that and I've integrated it into one webinar, right? So go find who you think is the best and then watch their webinar, get it transcribed, and then remake it, but make it actually accustomed and attuned and formulated to your particular offer. I would do that, make the world's best webinar, right? Then I'd get my webinar automation and emails all super tight. I'd get every webinar, a VA or two in there, right? And then only then I would start to actually scale with only two things: Facebook ads and YouTube ads done correctly. Because you have huge remarketing audiences on YouTube that you probably aren't taking advantage of. Zero in the right way. Like literally, like in 24 hours of focus, like we could instantly have a big impact on your business.
Yeah, I think so. And that's what's so cool, man. Like off camera, Kevin's like, I don't know if this is gonna make the final cut of this video, but he's such a generous dude with like his resources and his time, and it's someone who like generally wants to help entrepreneurs. So that's why I'm a huge fan of yours, and it's awesome to have that in the space because there's so many people who are just like focused on their thing and don't care about their students. But like, even Kevin, like the way he treats his students is similar to how he treats his friends too. And like, he's an open book with questions and like, I just want to put that out there for people.
I mean, I genuinely want to help people. Like most people in the space, they want to like keep everything secret so they can like protect their competitive edge. I want everyone to flourish, right? And that's why my students in DCS, that's why my students are making $15,000 in a weekend from a freaking how to do a handstand course, right? We had a student do $20,000 in a day selling a lead generation course for SEO. Like we just had success story after success story after success story for a specific reason, because I actually love watching people be successful. So that was a quick consultation on how to grow from 6 to 7 figures. If you want to learn 5 additional ways to make $1 million, check out this video right here. We break down some real strategies and methods that you can use to make $1 million. And check out Clark's channel, Refusing to Settle. Make sure you go subscribe to him, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Is saving a portion of your paycheck, every paycheck, and investing it into index funds. And what index funds are is